morning everyone. Welcome to my video. Today is a Friday and that means I usually just sit down and have a talk with all of you that's unedited, and it's really not an exciting video. I thought maybe you would like to turn this on and listen to me while maybe you do some work, or maybe you just want to sit with me. At the age of 55 now, I decided to slow down a little bit, and I want to share with you the journey that I've been on. And it's still a journey that I'm on, but I have learned so much in these years of YouTube that I finally come to the point in my life where I'm ready to slow down. I lived in a household where my mother was a constant hard worker. She never slowed down. From the time she woke up in the morning to the time she went to bed, she was always working, always busy doing things. And she got to the point sometimes where it would get overwhelming to her, and we would, as children, me, I'm the only one at home anymore, would be watching her and seeing all of the things that she did. I grew up just like her. All my life it was busy, 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 always busy doing something. And finally, in the year of 2025, basically it was, well, it started in December of 2024, I decided it's time to slow down a little bit. And I want to talk to you a little bit about that today. So what made me finally decide to slow down? What really was the straw that broke the camel's back? In early December, I woke up with a racing heart. Now, this was something that I was not accustomed to and something that I did not have before. As you know, I talk a lot about anxiety disorder and panic attacks, but racing hearts, a heart that was racing that would not stop, was nothing that was part of anything I ever dealt with before. I had all of my tricks up my sleeve, you know, the breathing deeply to calm down, all of those things I did, but it did nothing for me. Hour after hour after hour, it was like it was stuck. And my blood pressure was extremely high. I knew that this was something very unusual for me. Of course, all of the things flood in your mind, heart attack, stroke, all of these things. And so I went to the doctor and I had extensive tests. If you're part of my Facebook group, you would have heard about this because that's the only place I explained it to everyone. I had every test that you can imagine. I had tests for diabetes. I had tests for heart conditions. I had tests for my arteries. I had tests for little things, big things. Everything that you can imagine, I had a test for. And guess what? The tests all came back beautiful blood work and beautiful physical health that I have. So what in the world was wrong with me? Well, now most people would blame it on menopause. Menopause is an ugly, ugly thing, and some people have to deal with it much more than others. But menopause has really hit me hard. You see, my mother died at age 21, and so I was basically all alone in this adventure of menopause. I didn't know what it would be like, and boy, did it hit me hard. But I want to share with you some things that I have learned through all of this and how it was a life-changing moment. Now, you hear me say this many times on my channel. Oh, life-changing this and life-changing that, and it is for me. I literally say it's a life-changing moment because for me, I'm sensitive and I take everything at the end of my sleeve. Good old Tessie girl, you know her. She always takes it like a champ, but she always wears her heart on her sleeve. So I took everything that happened to me with menopause, I took it really personal. And I cannot believe the difference I did in my life that changed my life dramatically just since December 14th. I was so glad to have this done. Heart conditions run in my family, and so does diabetes. I don't have diabetes either. I'm really happy. I came out of that experience with such a joy in my heart because I came out with flying colors. I passed the test, and I know there's so many people go in for small things and they end up hearing such horrible news. But I have tests after tests and my thyroid is good after tests. I had all kinds of tests done. My arteries are clear, and I don't have any health conditions at all. So what was it? Well, you know, probably it was a mixture of things, but stress was a big thing. And I was finding myself getting more and more stressed out. And I didn't think about it. I really didn't think about it. There was nothing that was actually bothering me that I knew about, but it was the work schedule and everything that I had at one time. And so I set out to change that. And the doctor said, you know, this can happen. You know, racing heart can be a precursor to heart conditions or heart attacks, but not the kind that I had. So there are different kinds of racing hearts, and I did not have the dangerous run. My heart rhythm was beautiful. My heart was just pounding away perfectly. And the blood pressure was because every time I checked my blood pressure, I was getting more and more anxious. I was causing it to myself. And my arteries were clean. He said, actually, Teresa, your heart was doing what it's supposed to do. Your blood pressure was high because you were getting yourself all worked up, and that was creating more blood, and it was pumping out. And so he was telling me, hey, you got a great heart. You got a great physical conditions. There is nothing wrong with you. You got to calm down with the stress. And so that's where I decided to make some differences. And I want to share that with you. So I work in the morning, and then at lunchtime, I sit down for an hour for lunch, and I don't do any work. And that is a break in a busy day if I have a busy day. At 3 o'clock, I am done working, totally done. I turn off my computers. I don't answer emails. I don't look at all of the sellers and all of the things that I do with my businesses. So at 7 o'clock, what I do is I turn off all of social media, all of electronics, and I like to read, and I like to do some sewing, and I like to do all of those things. And that has helped me tremendously. I'm not on social media near as much. You see me put my videos up. You see me comment when I have a chance to. I read your comments, but I am not glued to YouTube or the internet anymore. And that has made a huge difference in my life. One of the things that we looked at really close was my liver. My liver is amazing. So back, I'm not sure when it was, beginning of the fall, I had a condition, a situation where I swallowed a shell, and then that shell got stuck. It kind of got stuck, and that was putting a little bit of pressure on my liver. That was just an acute situation. There is nothing wrong with my liver. My liver is great since that's all been taken care of. It just was a backup type thing. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know exactly what happened, but everything is fine with me. My sugar levels are great. My blood pressure is great, and all of the things are so good. But I was allowing stress, and I was allowing this form of anxiety to come against me. And so I learned these things to slow down. One thing I have learned since I am older is I can work just as good as I did when I was 20, but I don't realize that I'm overworking until I stop. And then when I stop working, all of a sudden I feel overwhelmed because I was doing way too much. I give myself breaks now. I sit down, give myself a break, and then when I have a little bit of a break, I get up and I do some more things. You know, time goes by so quickly, and we must remember to take each day and make it the best that we can. My pastor Mel has said something ever since I was a little girl, and he still says it on his daily little sermons that he has, Moments with Mel. He says, every day is the best day of your life. And you know, I never saw life that way. Every day I would say about my aches and my pains, and what I'm trying to do is take an example from him because he's been through a lot. He had a son that passed away only a few years ago, and he was a very young man, and so he's been through a lot. Every day is the best day of your life, and I say that. Now, of course, not every day is the best day of your life, but if you set your mind and emotions to that every single morning, every day is the best day of my life. Today is the best day of my life. It has made tremendous change in me because I have the mindset now that it's going to be a good day. And even if it's not a good day, I set in my mind singing. as I shared in my Facebook group, I started to sing. Even when I had all of these feelings that were happening, you know, it didn't happen overnight. The change that I have made in my personal daily life, it did not happen overnight. It was steps. But even when I had these feelings of the hot flashes or feelings of the heart was still racing for about 10 days, it would come and go, because I was learning about my body and learning about my adrenal glands and learning about me and what is making me react in such a way. I started to sing, just humming, singing, and that has made such a light switch in my brain, because experts tell you that when you're in an anxiety-provoking condition or situation, what you need to do is you need to sing, hum, or you need to just think of a good phrase and repeat it in your mind to tell your body that there is nothing wrong, that everything is fine. The flight and fight in me was very strong, and that's something that I had to work through years. And then I thought I conquered it until I had this strange symptom. Now, of course, estrogen, progesterone, all of these things can make a huge impact in your life with menopause and with the racing heart and the fluttering heart and all of these things. And I learned what it was. I got the records to show to myself that everything is fine. Everything is great. I just got to learn to take it one step slower and change the way that I am doing things as I get older. And so I am, and I feel so much better. The menopausal symptoms are so much better. I don't have to deal with that anymore because I'm reducing the amount of stress that I allow in my body. And it has been tremendous wake-up call for me, and I'm very blessed and thankful that I came out of that hospital, and I came out of that with amazing work and amazing numbers, because I know not everybody has that. And so now I need to remember that I don't need to stress anything. Life is too short to stress about it, and to go from there and to continue to work at my health and continue to work at maintaining my weight and maintaining my exercise level and maintaining all of those. I also had a hereditary heart blood work done, which was really expensive, and that showed amazing as well. The metabolic panel, magnesium, and then I had the tryptophan, the 5 generations. I did have that test. That was perfect. The complete blood work, and then the D-dimer quantitative was really good. The doctor explained some of this to me, so I do know what most of it is. But everything looked good, and I wanted to say thank you guys so much for keeping me in your prayers. And I am learning, as being a severely sensitive person, that I can let it go, and I can just reduce the stress and make my life a little bit better each day. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Moments with Pastor Mel. Coming from God's heart, through my heart, to your heart. It's all about the heart. Oh, let the heart be radically transformed by God's power. It's amazing, as we are in this brand new year, how to keep your mind on Jesus throughout 2025. I am so thankful for the privilege that we have just to be here in His presence, with you being present. Together, we are in His presence. I love God's word. Philippians 4:4 tells us, rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say, rejoice. Be careful for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And if you do this, he goes on to tell us, then the peace of God, which passes all understanding and misunderstanding, shall keep your hearts and minds. Oh, how we need it in the times we're living in. Keep our hearts and minds through Jesus Christ. Finally, this is the final thing of everything Paul is saying here. Brethren, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things.